Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films. I'm your host, Bobby, and today I'm finally getting around to doing my year-end 2016 lists. As always, it will be broken down between theatrical releases, direct-to-DVD releases. This includes anything that went straight to video on demand or was made for Netflix, that kind of thing. Anything that didn't get an actual theatrical release. You'll notice an exception, and when we get to that movie, I'll explain why it is an exception. And then the Asylum films are in their own category. Those don't have a worst or best list. They are simply ranked from least favorite going into my favorite. And the worst list for both the theatrical and direct-to-DVD are the same lists. I don't divide up the bad movies between theatrically released and direct-to-DVD. If you suck, you suck. That's kind of all there is to it. With all that out of the way, let's start with my favorite theatrically released movies of 2016. Number 15 best of 2016 is Sing Street. Sing Street comes from writer-director John Carney, best known for Once. He also made a movie with Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo called Begin Again. I really like his style. I think Once has the better music, and the chemistry between the Glenn Hansard and I'm blanking on her name in Once. I'm so sorry. Is amazing and crazy. Like lightning in a bottle only happens once type deal. Sing Street doesn't quite get that, and the songs in it are good. I just don't think they're quite as good. However, from a filmmaking technical standpoint, John Carney's improved quite a bit since Once, and the kid actors who are our main stars are amazing. They're incredible, and seeing them just kind of low budget grunge their way through making a music video, and how this makes them more popular at school and how they deal with bullies, it's really sweet. It's one of the most realistic and entertaining coming of age stories I've seen probably since Son of Rambo. Those two share a lot in common. If you haven't seen Son of Rambo, I recommend it. John Carney, Sing Street, remarkable, sweet, awesome film. Number 14 is Midnight Special. This comes from Jeff Nichols, whose speciality seems to be in using Michael Shannon in the coolest ways possible. I believe Michael Shannon has been in every single one of Jeff Nichols' films. Starting with Shotgun Stories, Take Shelter, Midnight Special. There are others. I'm fairly sure Michael Shannon has been in all of them, and he's fantastic in all of them. Take Shelter is still my favorite Jeff Nichols film, but my God, Midnight Special is something fantastic to witness. Without giving anything away, it deals with comic book superheroes and superpowers, religious cults, FBI investigating terrorism, kidnapping, and alien worlds / parallel dimensions. This is all wrapped up in a shockingly family-friendly film. I say shocking because I don't consider Jeff Nichols family-friendly per se. Like, I wouldn't show my 9-year-old niece Shotgun Stories or Take Shelter. I would show her this, though. Michael Shannon's really good. Joel Edgerton is also great. Kirsten Dunst has a small but very important role, and she's good. And much to my surprise, Adam Driver is hilarious in this film. Some of my friends are really disappointed, or I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but whatever. That I didn't like his performance in The Force Awakens, and I stand by that. His performance in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, ruins a lot of that film. It is a disastrously awful, bad performance, And I grant in part that is due to bad direction, because it's what he was clearly given, because it's what they went with. But, you know, when certain things happen at the end, and for those who haven't seen them, I won't spoil, his face is so stone-faced that I don't care about anything that villain is doing at all. And I grant, you couldn't see Darth Vader's face, but you could tell by the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he held himself. You could tell what he was thinking, and I couldn't tell you anything Kylo Ren was thinking, except that he's a 5-year-old throwing temper tantrums all the time. So, I've never seen Girls, and so I have no opinion of him on that show, or of that show in general, so don't ask. And that's all I know. I knew he was on Girls, but I'd never seen it, and I know him from Force Awakens. So I wasn't that excited for him in this film, and I was really wrong. Adam Driver is really good here, really funny, really adds a lot. The directing, as with most Jeff Nichols films, is really subtle, but it absorbs you into its very realistic world, and it is absolutely worth watching. Number 13 is Lights Out. 2016 was a rock-solid year for horror. A lot of really good, really interesting horror films came out. Lights Out, in terms of how it deals with its villain, may cheat a little bit, especially closer to the end, but it is so well executed up to that point. The directing is spot on, the editing is fantastic, and specifically the acting. This is one of the best acted horror films I've seen in a long time. Is breathtaking. And so once it does begin to cheat, I don't mind it. If that ruins the film for you, well, maybe not ruins, but if that means the movie's not as good as it could have been had it not done that thing with the black light at the end, I understand. I get it. For me personally, everything else about the movie is so good, I don't mind it. There are a few jump scares, but not that many. It is very much a sort of psychological horror film, and as well as watching our main characters deal with what's going on. And then you have your big scares with the actual entity, and the resolution doesn't take an easy way out. Coming in at number 12 is The Conjuring 2, which I like better than the first Conjuring. I don't know if that's a thing people have been stating or not. The first Conjuring is a fantastic, perfect horror film. It is a mesmerizing everything. Everything about the first Conjuring works. This builds off of that so nicely and so well that you don't notice that Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson aren't in the film for roughly the first 30-ish minutes, because the new characters are so interesting, so endearing, and it's really cool. It's really nice to see that kind of thing happen. Acting, fantastic. Special effects, mind-bogglingly good and very subtle. Set design, perfect. Editing, stunning. But the lighting is what gets me in this one. The lighting is so intense and so good that the atmosphere, even in moments of quiet and, you know, where it's just characters talking, never lets up. And it's great. Number 11 is an animated film that I really wish did better at the box office. Coming out in September, I don't know if it's because kids were getting back into the swing of school and whatnot, or if it was just badly marketed, but Storks was amazing. Storks was adorable. Storks is the Looney Tunes movie people have been waiting for since before Space Jam, because Space Jam is bad. And look, I liked Back in Action. It's a very flawed film, but it's a great Looney Tunes movie, if that makes sense. This is a great movie and a great Looney Tunes movie. It has that frenetic, very cartoony animation and slapstick humor, and it has really clever, really funny dialogue and banter. And on top of all that, the emotions ring true It is a shockingly sweet movie. And it really works in that regard. The sweet actually pays off. There's a reason for it. It doesn't feel manipulative or anything like that. Storks is amazing. Number 10 is a surprise for me. The Purge election year. I don't much care for the first Purge. Upon a fairly recent rewatch, I liked it better than when I first saw it. It still has a slew of problems though, and I really enjoy Anarchy. Anarchy has issues, but Anarchy is more the movie I wanted from the first Purge, and Frank Grillo is just fucking fantastic. Frank Grillo is back in election year playing the same character, and I'm not sure if it's Frank Grillo or if it's just the character of Leo that Grillo is playing that really allows the writer and director of all three films, James DeMonaco, to go crazy. But election year is everything I ever wanted in a Purge movie when I heard the premise. It is a balls to the wall, crazy, political, black satire action film with over-the-top costumes, over-the-top set design for Purge Night. The people going out to kill in Purge Night are fucking insane, and this movie plays into that. It ramps up what they wear. It ramps up how they decorate their cars. And the world is so fascinating now. I really hope we get another one, because at this rate, the next one could very well be the best film of whatever year it comes out in. Grillo is fantastic. The entire cast is fantastic. They play off each other well. Everybody really holds their own in the action scenes. This is definitely one of the biggest surprises of the year for me. As, again, not a huge fan of the first one. The second one's flawed, but very good. This one is a masterpiece. James Monaco has finally figured out the proper story to tell and the way to tell it in this crazy world he's created. Number 9, Finding Dory, which I don't have time to get into why I think it's stupid this isn't up for an Academy Award, but whatever. Finding Dory is a really great sequel. It's a really sweet movie. It's very sincere, and any fears of it just being another road trip movie instead of looking for Nemo, now looking for Dory, is quelled in the first 15 minutes once Dory disappears, in that Nemo and Marlin talk about it. They made up with our old friends the turtles, and then they're there. They are where she is within 20 minutes from the beginning of the film, and that includes setup and everything, not just from when she disappears. As such, it has a very different vibe than the original Finding Nemo, which is very much a road trip movie in the ocean. This film is sort of a break-in / break-out film. Dory's trying to break out of the institution that she's in. Marlin and Nemo are trying to break in to get to her. And that provides a lot of different sort of action and comedic bits than from the first film. And baby Dory is so cute. Oh my god, she's adorable. The animation is, of course, stellar and top-notch. The voice acting, all returning cast in the original, along with new people like Ed O'Neill. Fantastic. Really great, very humorous, top-notch. Then, yeah, I really got nothing bad to say. Finding Dory was a gloriously great surprise and a wonderful sequel. Number 8 is Moana is remarkable. Moana's songs are brilliant. Moana's characterization is brilliant. Maui's characterization is brilliant. The story is super impressive and really sweet, and the resolution doesn't pull any punches. It makes sense and it works, and it's really good. But this movie gets by on its awesome, holy shit, fantastic animation. This film looks so good. Everything about this movie looks real within context of its own world. The water gives people high fives. It's great. It's hilarious. It's joyous. It's everything critics say Frozen is, and it isn't, because Frozen sucks ass. This film is a triumph in all levels. Number 7 is Deadpool. From the very beginning of X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson in the elevator with the other team before they go to kill some people or something. I really don't remember that movie too well, but you could tell that he was always meant to be this character. And mind you, they fuck the character of Deadpool up later in the film. For that beginning sequence, it's just Wade Wilson, it's not Deadpool yet, and it's very obvious Ryan Reynolds understands this character on like a molecular level. Like, they are bonded from birth type thing. And all the years he spent in trying to get this movie made, over a decade. And all that heartache, all those triumphs have paid off, because the movie Deadpool is not only the only good X-Men film, it's phenomenally, fantastically great. It's hilarious, it's emotional, there's weight to all the characters' actions, the acting from everybody is fantastic. TJ Miller's really funny as the best friend. Ed Skirrin is really enjoyable as the bad guy. It's great. But this is the Ryan Reynolds show. You could just probably rename Deadpool that, and I'd be okay with that. Ryan Reynolds is so good here. His comedic timing, his physical acting when you can't see his mouth in the suit, although they do make the eyebrows move, which is glorious. Just the way he holds himself in the action scenes, the one-liners, it's amazing. Deadpool is fantastic, and given how much money it made, you already knew how fantastic it was. Number 6 is Hail Caesar from the Coen brothers. This sadly got mostly shut out from the Academy Awards, except for cinematography, which is very sad, as this film is fantastic. It is my new favorite Coen brothers film of all time, so that tells you anything. Alden Ehrenreich as Hobie Doyle steals this film. He's amazing. Josh Brolin as Mannix is great. All the actors are perfect. All the actors are perfect. The period set details are absurdly great. And the little nod to the way society used to be in the golden age of Hollywood are really funny. Specifically, Channing Tatum's song and dance number steals the entire show. Like, best actor in the film, Alden Ehrenreich as Hobie Doyle, but the best sequence is this sort of Navy men getting ready to set sail. So they have one last song and drink at a bar. It's one of the funniest things in the world. Number 5 shouldn't be that much of a surprise to anybody, given the animated movie I have not yet mentioned, Zootopia. Zootopia is one of Disney's greatest films probably ever. Zootopia is a mind-blowing, brilliant experience. The characters are very well written, and they have great arcs throughout the course of the film. Everybody, even the side characters, feel realistic, and you can tell their hopes and dreams and all that. They're well voice acted. The timing couldn't have been better for the film. It is a shockingly relevant social and political statement. And the animation is absurdly fantastic. It's more cartoony than Moana, and brighter, and it's just so... There's always something going on in the background. you can rewatch this film, and there's always, because of the sprawling, huge massiveness that is the titular city's utopia, there's always things going on. So even while we're focusing on our main characters in the forefront, cars are zooming past, people are buying things. It's amazing. Enough has been said about this film. I won't spend a ton of time on it, but it really is a triumph across the board. It's relevant. The kids will love it. The adults will love it for entirely different reasons. And you could remake this film as a live-action film starring human beings and rewrite it solely to make that aspect of it work, and take out the animal stuff, and still have this be a fantastically interesting cop film. That's the level of writing we're talking about. Number 4 is really a different sort of beast. Don't Breathe is a horror thriller that some people complain you don't like any of the characters. And I argue that's the point, and rarely do I make this argument. Most of the time I'm like, if I can't relate to your character, I don't care what should I, yada yada. But here, our 3 teenage leads, led by Jane Levy as Rocky. Our introduction to them is them robbing a house, just because they can. And then they decide to rob the house of the blind man, played by Stephen Lang, and then things go really, really wrong. That's what makes the movie so good. It's not just its fantastic claustrophobic direction, the perfect lighting. These are a really cool sequence where we're kind of viewing things from the blind man's point of view. It's super intense and awesome. The minimalist, brilliant score, production design, all fantastic. But what makes the movie something special is how it peels back layers. Our introduction to these teens is they're robbing a house solely for the fun of it. And we know the blind man lost his daughter to a drunk driver, and he's a vet from, I want to say, the Marines. Might be misremembering which armed forces he's in, which is how he went blind. And as the movie progresses, layers and layers keep getting peeled back, to where eventually you're actually siding with the kids. You are siding with the teenagers who you did not like in the beginning. The way it plays with who you relate to and who you like at any given moment throughout the course of the film is jaw-droppingly brilliant, and it's so well executed. I do feel giving away some of the twists in the film is doing it a disservice, so I won't, but definitely see Don't Breathe. I am currently in the middle of doing my superhero rankings list. A friend asked me to do that a while ago. I am getting through that as quickly as I can now, with the second part to be released probably when I'm done shooting this video, actually. And number 3 on 2016's best of list is my absolute favorite superhero movie of all time. And I will let that video really explain why. But Captain America Civil War is a modern blockbuster masterpiece. Everything about the film works. The writing, the directing, the acting, the everything. It's brilliant. The score is awesome. The visual effects are awesome. It is the greatest superhero movie to date. Number 2 is the exception I was talking about when I mentioned things going straight, made from Netflix, going straight to a DVD, video on demand type stuff. The Little Prince is a French animated film that got released throughout all of Europe and all of Asia in theaters. Then it was supposed to be released here, to the point where my wife and I, when we were seeing films last year, saw that trailer in front of certain movies at least 3 times in theaters. At least 3 times. Then, a week or 2 before it was supposed to be released, Paramount just pulled it, and no one seems to know why almost a year later, which is really weird. as such, much like with the interview with the James Franco Seth Rogen movie, I do consider it a theatrically released film. It had a budget of a theatrically released movie. It was the talent of a theatrically released film, and it was animated and marketed and everything to be a theatrically released film. And then at the last minute, it just got pulled for, again, no apparent reason. And that's a crying fucking shame. The story of the movie sees a single mom and her daughter move into a house next to a crazy old man. The mom is very strict on the daughter, making her study and do her homework and chase her. Mom literally has the girl's entire life planned out. As such, the little girl is a bit of a downer. The crazy old man is the aviator from the Little Prince book. He befriends the little girl, and he tells her the story of the Little Prince. And this is, happens throughout multiple days. It's not just one retelling. We have normal CGI animation for the modern day sequences, and the book retelling is stop motion animation, and it's really gorgeous and really impressive. It is stellar work in that regard. And then they tie everything very nicely together. If you've read The Little Prince, you'll kind of know the things I'm hinting at. I don't want to give it away. After Paramount dropped the film, it went to Netflix. It's been a few months in limbo. Netflix bought it and they released it onto their streaming service in August. And if you have Netflix, watch it, please. It's a beautiful, remarkable movie. And it deserves to have been theatrically released. There's no reason for it not to have been. You had posters up in theaters. You had trailers playing in front of movies in theaters. Why was it pulled? It's a stunning film. What makes it even more bizarre is that in Europe and Asia and the other territories that it was released, it had actually already made all its money back. Which meant you'd only be losing out on whatever marketing you'd spent, which you lost out anyway because you already spent the money for the trailers and posters to be put in theaters across the United States of America. So you actually just had to have lost money by not doing that. It makes no sense. Either way, Little Prince, since it came out in August, was my favorite film of 2016 until comparatively recently, when I went to go see La La Land. Damien Chazelle's super hyped up, all the awards winning musical love letter to the golden age of Hollywood, despite being set in the modern day, is the triumph you've heard everybody describe it to you as. It is a beautiful, beautiful film. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone have now been in 3 movies together. Crazy Stupid Love was their first movie together, Gangster Squad was the second, and now La La Land. And their chemistry is insane and glorious and super crazy impressive. And then, top it all off, you have beautiful songs, really catchy songs, really personal songs. The editing is fantastic. The costumes are amazing. The colors are mind-blowing. The music is to die for. The story is actually really simple. Classic jazz musician, Ryan Gosling, meets a struggling actress, and they fall in love against the backtrack of their respective work not going the way they wanted to, and attempting to achieve their dreams, and the toll and the triumphs this takes from their relationship. That's it. That sounds like every romantic comedy ever set in Hollywood. It sounds like half of the musicals of the 1950s. It is a simple story. But the characters are really rich and interesting. And all the actors bring out the best in these people. And then the ending happens. And it's an emotional thrill ride, to say the least. And then the ending happens, and it is an emotional gut punch that really works to highlight that these two are, it's complicated because I don't want to give it away, but the ending is fantastic. The songs are fantastic. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone have never been better in anything, including Half Nelson for all you Ryan Gosling fans out there. It is a perfect storm of talent and writing and production. It is fantastic. And it's true, everything you've heard about it. La La Land is brilliant. These are the awards for theatrically released films in 2016. Best Director, Damien Chazelle for La La Land. If just for the opening sequence alone, which is shot to look like one continuous shot of a musical number on a backed up, busy, traffic jammed Los Angeles highway. The whole movie could have been that short film and it would still be the best film of the year. That shot is undeniably impressive. But the other things he does, like there's a real fun party sequence in which flutes of champagne being overfilled become our sort of border for everything else going on. The camera's spinning around. It's brilliant, and it really does add an energy and level of fun to the film. His work there is masterful. Runner-up is Fede Alvarez for Don't Breathe. No other director could have done this film and have it turn out this way. It's an intense, emotional, horrific thriller journey that only works due to his claustrophobic style and his tension building. There are other talented horror filmmakers out there. None of them could have done this film and have it be the same thing. Best Actor, Ryan Gosling in La La Land. I've never seen Ryan Gosling be like this. He's always been a good actor. Hell, he's always been a great actor even. He's always had a certain charisma and a pull, even in films that didn't quite pan out so well. But he is something different altogether here. And it's amazing to see. Sort of obsession his character has with classic jazz is really interesting. He and Emma Stone are, of course, amazing together. Brilliant. Runner-up, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, because duh. Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds' baby. It kind of feels like the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, went forward in time, met Ryan Reynolds in, like, 2010 or whatever, went back in time and created comic book characters solely for Ryan Reynolds to star as one day. That is how great and how personal and authentic Ryan Reynolds is as Deadpool. It's a wonderful performance that was not overlooked for some awards considerations this go round, but it was overlooked for the Academy Awards, because, of course. Best Actress, Emma Stone in La La Land. You will see La La Land appearing a lot, and I'm not sorry for that. La La Land is the best movie musical since Moulin Rouge, and it's an astounding work of art. And everything that contributed to that only helped. And that does include Emma Stone. Emma Stone is amazing. Heartbreaking, sweet, flighty, fun, brilliant. She brings something new to this role that's not there on the page as the character is written, and cannot look away from her ever on screen. It's a remarkable, raw performance. The runner-up is Ialui Cravaloha. I am going to butcher her name, and I already have, and I'm fucking sorry. The lady who plays Moana in Moana. One of the best voice acting ever. It's such a heartbreaking sequence. There's a song that is for an Academy Award nomination called How Far I'll Go. And in the song, there's a moment where she's singing and she doesn't understand why she keeps being drawn to the water, why she's not just happy in her life on this island, in which she should have every reason to be happy. Her parents love her very much. She's very close to her grandma. Her people love her very much. The island's beautiful. She has a pet pig and a pet chicken, and you know, in theory, on paper, this should be great. So in the course of the song, How Far I'll Go, she sings What's Wrong With Me. And that's the only one line in the entire song. It's my favorite song in the movie. And that line will break your heart. She's questioning everything she knows in that line. She doesn't understand why this happened. And in that one line, you hear the heartbreak, because she knows she should be happy and grateful for what she has, but she can't help it. And it's a small thing, but it really helps develop that character later on, and what we see her do and how we see her grow. It's remarkable. And her voice acting, and from what I understand, they saw a ton of people for this movie, is stellar. Best Supporting Actor in the film, Alden Ehrenreich in Hail Caesar. You already heard me praise him in my actual best list of 2016, so I won't go that much into detail, but he steals every scene he's in. He's adorable. He's awesome. He's so much fun that I'm actually really excited to see him as Han Solo. That's really good casting. He's great. Runner-up is Dan Folger, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Fantastic Beasts was only an okay movie. Not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but it could have been better. But Dan Folger is so amazing, so impressive, and so genuine and sweet as this human baker just caught up in these magical shenanigans with these wizards and witches and whatnot. That you really wish the movie were actually about him and one other character named Queenie, and that it were a romance. They are so good together. They're so empathetic and so realistic that all you want is them to stop having a plot so you can follow these two and enjoy their company. And that's him. There's a sequence at the end that's kind of heartbreaking, and it's only heartbreaking because of how he sells it. It's such a great thing. I've always liked him. I thought he was great in Fanboys and Wedding Brothers. Is that the name of that film, I think? He's good in that too. He's always a good presence, but he's never been used like this before, and it shows a whole new side of him. He's amazing here. Best Supporting Actress is Anagora Rice in The Nice Guys. She plays Holly, whom is Ryan Gosling's daughter. She's such a spitfire intellectual, but she doesn't understand certain things because, you know, she's still kind of a kid. It's so much fun to watch, and she does such a good job with Russell Crowe, with Ryan Gosling, with the delicate pieces of the plot. She makes it all very grounded and believable. It's a beautiful performance. Runner-up is Maria Bello in Lights Out. She plays the mom of our main characters. And as the story progresses, her character becomes very important to the overall plot. And she's fantastic. So good. And she sells it so well. And it's so heartbreaking to find out her backstory and what happened and how they decided to end things. That I couldn't imagine any other actress of applicable age and talent doing it as well. Best Ensemble, Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar stars Josh Brolin and Tilda Swinton and Scarlett Johansson and Jonah Hill and Christopher Lambert and Channing Tatum and George Clooney, and you get it. The cast is insane, and they're all perfect. They're all amazing. So he is the clear winner of Best Ensemble. Best Original Screenplay, Zootopia by Jared Bush and Phil Johnston, who are also two of the directors for Zootopia. Because it's Zootopia. Duh. And Hail Caesar by the Coen brothers, for being so insanely delightful. It is loosely, they took the idea of Mannix's real life and turned a fictional story of a communist plot into it. So I'm counting it as a original screenplay, even though it's inspired by somebody real. It's delightful. It's brilliant. You gotta watch it. Best Adapted Screenplay: The Little Prince by Irina Berglund and Bob Perschetti. Because it's The Little Prince, it will make you cry. It will make you throw your arms up in triumph and joy, and it will put you through every emotion possible, except for maybe being scared. It's a beautiful framing device. It's a beautifully told story. The dialogue works. Everything about the way it's written works. Runner-up: Deadpool by Reet Riss and Paul Wernick. Because, duh. This movie doesn't just get the characters right. It doesn't just get the actor for the role right. It gets the fourth wall breaking right. It gets the over-the-top stuff right. It gets the more deviant things in Deadpool's mind right. It is perfectly written for the kind of film it needs to be, and for the kind of film it is. Cinematography is a tie. They couldn't decide between the two. Ben Davis for Doctor Strange and Pedro Lacroix for Don't Breathe. They're two very different kinds of films. Don't Breathe, very minimalist, only small smattering of special effects that, hide certain things. Doctor Strange, the most visually impressive Marvel movie to date. They both look phenomenal in different ways. And I really couldn't decide between the two of them which one was better. So I didn't. Yeah, they're both just such visual feasts. The runner-up is Bill Pope for The Jungle Book, a remarkable, impressive retelling that is now the gold standard of that film, of that story on film. That, without such a strong visual style, would have floundered and died quickly. Best Film Editing goes to Adam Gritzel and Mark Lavoisli for The Jungle Book. Once again, in terms of keeping up with the fast animals, with the plot, with the crazy antics going on and all that, you needed people who were able to sell it all in a very visual style, and they do that. The editing here is sublime. The runner-up are Kurl Kravitz, Yaka Kana, and Matt Landon for The Little Prince. The Little Prince's editing is so impressive for the way it interweaves the actual story that the book tells with the modern stuff going on, and the two different styles that are going on there, and the way those combined together is seamless. And that's all in the editing. Best visual effects. This shouldn't surprise anybody. Doctor Strange. Far and away, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is one of only a small handful of films that is improved by seeing it in 3D. The 3D adds that much to it. I'm not kidding. It is so rich in detail, from the way the spells look, to the costumes, to the opening of portals in the weird clockwork door things. Visually speaking, no film comes close to this, except for the runner-up being The Jungle Book. Those animals look amazing. The sky looks amazing. The water looks amazing. The mouth movements are amazing. They look so good. It's so realistic. It's almost unthinkable. As production design, Doctor Strange again, for all the reasons I just listed, only instead of being the CGI stuff, it's everything else. The sanctuary is huge and towering, and the costumes are amazing. Just in terms of a sheer feast for the eyes, Doctor Strange is a wonder to behold. It also happens to have great writing and great acting, so, awesome. Runner-up, The Purge election year. They really amped up everything for election year, and they added more intensity and more dramatic flair. And by going over the top, yes, sell the humor a little bit more, but you also sell the crazy world a little bit more, making everything a little bit scarier. And that really comes through here. There's a crazy, mobile hospital truck that's armed like it's a fucking Mad Max movie. There's a truck just decked out in Christmas lights, just to be ominous and scary so you can see it coming from a long ways away. It's awesome. Best costume design, Captain America Civil War. I know, you were expecting Doctor Strange here. Civil War has such a huge cast. Introducing new characters, bringing in old characters, slightly revamping their suits and that sort of thing. That having that large of a cast, and they all look excellent. They all look appropriate, and they all look right for the other appearances they've made in the other movies they've been in, presumably they've been in other films. I imagine it was a logistical nightmare, but it all looks perfect on screen. The runner-up is Doctor Strange, because no duh. Best makeup and hair, Deadpool. Deadpool and more Deadpool is the winner here. Deadpool's makeup is remarkable. Deadpool's makeup is remarkable. Not just on Ryan Reynolds' face, but on the other characters as well. On Gina Carano's character, on the main bad guy, Ajax. The makeup is to die for. The makeup on Colossus, who's not just CGI, he's also practical makeup. Amazing. The runner-up is The Purge election year. Once again, they really do go crazier with it. So, bigger eyeshadow, bigger costumes means they try to actually accentuate the faces of the people wearing these absurd outfits to go on their purge killing sprees. A bit better than that leads to some really cool looking sequences for some people. Best original score! Marvel finally did it. Marvel released a film with a score that's not just memorable, but fucking fantastic. That is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's score is so good and ephemeral and very otherworldly, appropriately so. It fits the mood of the movie perfectly. And I will be surprised if people still complain about Marvel's music anymore, because this film's a game changer in that regard. The runner-up is Little Prince. It's hard to describe what makes that score work so well without seeing the movie, because if I just describe it to you, it sounds like, oh, it hits all your normal beats, and it totally does. The sad scenes have a slow piano and that kind of thing, but it's different than that. It's bigger than that. The emotions are more rich than that, and the score underlines all of that perfectly. Best soundtrack is a tie. We had two amazing musicals come out this year, and they are two of the best films of the year, meaning that, no duh, the best soundtrack would be a tie between these two fantastic musicals, La La Land and Moana. From a technical filmmaking standpoint, La La Land is the better film, and its songs are great and super important to the story and the characters and all that jazz. Moana has the better songs though, and I couldn't leave that off. You know what I mean? The runner-up is Suicide Squad. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The soundtrack to Suicide Squad is shittily utilized within the film itself. But just going out and buying the soundtrack, listening to it, it's a fucking phenomenal piece of art on its own. It is a great thing. Also helps that Heathens is, without a doubt, best song made for any non-musical movie from 2016. Heathens is a brilliant song. The soundtrack is great. It's not great as used in the movie. Hey, that leads me directly to Best Original Song! Heathens by 21 Pilots from Suicide Squad. Because, yeah, duh. It is everything I wanted that movie to be. That music video is everything I wanted that movie to be, and it failed me. That song does not, though. The song is amazing, and heartbreaking, and fun, and punchy, and jaunty, and all things I wanted Suicide Squad to be, that it failed. That song is perfect, though. Runner-up, How Far I'll Go, from Moana. How Far I'll Go is my personal favorite song in Moana. My wife really loves the song Shiny. I know another friend who really likes the You're Welcome song, which is also a great, very funny song. For me personally, I think How Far to Go is the best song in the movie, because it not only helps the character move along, it not only helps the plot move along, it's also got the most hinging off of it in terms of performance And I did describe that as to why the lady who sang it and does the voice acting is one of the best actresses of 2016. Best sound editing goes to 10 Cloverfield Lane. What a bizarre film that was. I really enjoyed it, but I was not looking forward to it. I thought, and still maintain it had a bad trailer. And the trailer did not sell that movie well at all, so I didn't see it in the theaters. I was not looking forward to it, and I really, really loved it. It's another movie that didn't quite make the cut for Best Picture. In part because I think just 15 I can kind of roll with, just because I don't feel like those movies that would have been the honorable mentions need to actually be on that list. But 20 just seems overkill, you know? But sound is so important to the film, and they do such a good job at playing it up that it is remarkable. It also won Best Sound Mixing, just so you're aware. And the runner-up for both sound editing and mixing is Captain America: Civil War, because there's so much going on in that film. From the giant airport battle to when Hawkeye and Vision are fighting at the Avengers headquarters. It's nuts. And be able to balance everything properly so no one noise overpowers anything and everything fits where it should is crazy. And the fact that they do that so well is impressive. And finally, Best So Bad It's Good theatrical release goes to Alex Poyers' Gods of Egypt. I really enjoyed Gods of Egypt, but Gods of Egypt is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. The acting is over the top and ridiculous, and in some cases just muted and bland. The special effects are actually mostly really good when it comes to the human characters, not their side effects when it comes to the way the gods look and stuff. But the CGI backgrounds, not so good. The plot is insanity, and it doesn't actually make a lot of sense. And it all comes down into dialogue that's overwrought and overdramatic and trying too hard for the kind of movie it is, all of which is fucking hilarious.